Are you guys ready to have your mind blown? Actually, wait. I think I started another video like that at one point too. It was actually this video. Are you guys ready to have your mind blown? Tell me you are. Tell me you are, because I know that you cannot handle the amount of information that I'm about to just spew out to you all in this video. Same when I posted a month ago about the Sun and Moon storyline being solved, and supposedly people thought like I was completely wrong about most things. Now, granted, yes, I'm pretty sure there's some things that I was definitely wrong about. I'll debunk all that at the end. But today, the biggest mystery in Pokemon Sun and Moon has officially been solved. At least I am very confident in that. So, in this video, I'm gonna go all over the place. There's gonna be a lot of stuff thrown at you, and I hope you're ready to absorb it all because there's a lot to take in from this that you definitely want to be aware of going into Pokemon Sun and Moon. Alright, now before we get into what I have to say today, I usually never, ever ask for likes at the beginning of videos, but if you do enjoy the video at any point in time, doesn't have to be now, or you don't even have to like it at all, but if you do enjoy it, please consider hitting that thumbs up button because a lot of work has gone into the research of this over like a massive amount of time since February. I've been forming this same theory basically since like February 26th or whenever Sun and Moon was officially announced. But now that more information has arisen and came forward to us, now we could speculate quite a lot harder about what we're going to be seeing in Sun and Moon. So let's start with something that you guys may have seen or noticed in the E3 Nintendo Treehouse gameplay for Pokemon Sun and Moon. So in the beginning of this gameplay, when Hala actually approaches you and starts talking to you about some stuff, he gives you a little bit of information about the Alola region, and he starts off by saying, the Alola region is made up of 4 islands. Each island has its own guardian Pokemon. Our festival today is held to express our thanks to these great Pokemon guardian deities for always being at our side. So what's interesting about that is that actually correlates very well with something I stated previously in a theory ago, which is the same one I started off with talking about. Now, let's get into what the actual meaning of all of this is. What you later come to find out is Kukui and Lily end up showing up right after you're finished talking to Hala about the festival and about just the whole region in general. And he shows up and he talks about how this festival we're going to be battling in the name of Tapu Koko. And a lot of people started speculating about who is Tapu Koko or what is Tapu Koko. So you know that it's definitely referencing the name of something, but whether that be a person, place, Pokemon, or whatever it may be, I actually think that it's something completely different than all those. I think that Tapu Koko is the name of some kind of Hawaiian ritual focused around keeping the region peaceful and healthy. And the Alola region has even been mentioned to be filled with life and energy, and it's just a very peaceful sanctuary place, type of place you want to go. Like, you go there to be exiled off and to enjoy peace and tranquility in a nice exiled habitat.
And folks may have noticed there was another thing we can't really talk about too much, but just to mention Tapu Koko. Worth paying attention to that name. Might be important.
So essentially, like I said, Tapu Koko is some sort of ritual to maintain that peace and tranquility and make sure that everything stays in order in the region. Okay, now this is something I forgot to include in my original take of this video, and this is really important, and I had it noted down in front of me to do this specifically, so I forgot about this. The reason why I really firmly believe that Tapu Koko is some kind of Hawaiian ritual is based off the broken down meanings of the words. Let's take a look at Tapu first. Tapu is to represent something holy or sacred with some sort of spiritual restriction or implied prohibition. It involves basically a set of rules or prohibitions that are set in stone before you can access whatever it is that's Tapu. Then when you look at the definition of Koko, it means individually or one by one. That's the best description of that word I could find. There's a lot of different translations of the word Koko, and it depends on what language you're speaking, but the best ones that I could find that related to Japanese translations in simplified text was individually or like one by one. So that could tie in to each of the guardians, one by one, performing the ritual on each of the islands or something along those lines. It could be something a little bit like less fine-tuned than that, but it could be something where like each of the festivals that are performed in the name of Tapu Koko on each island are part of the ultimate ritual to like make Tapu Koko a thing and keep the island safe and under like peace and tranquility, or something along those lines. Now, what makes me believe that? This leads me actually to what I was just about to talk about, something I stated in that previous theory video. I've talked about something before. In Norse mythology, there is something called the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy. And I'm going to actually, instead of explaining it again, because I've explained it previously in another video, there will be a card and a link in the description if you want to check out the original video. But you're going to see a clip from it that explains perfectly what the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy is. The Whirling Rainbow Prophecy. There will come a day where people of all races, colors, and creeds will put aside their differences. They will come together in love, joining hands in unification to heal the earth and all her children. They will move over the earth like the great whirling rainbow, bringing peace, understanding, and healing everywhere they go. Many creatures that were thought to be extinct or mythical will resurface at this time. The great trees that perished will return almost overnight. All living things will flourish, drawing sustenance from the breast of our mother, the earth. The great spiritual teachers who walked the earth and taught the basics of the truths of the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy will return and walk amongst us once more, sharing their power and understanding with all of us. We will learn how to see and hear in a sacred manner. So with all that in mind, you come to the realization that now Game Freak may be getting some kind of inspiration from Norse mythology, and then you might question, well, Jason, how do you know that this is where they're getting the reference from? Why Norse mythology specifically? How do you even know that this has anything to do with Sun and Moon, just because it sounds similar? Well, actually, let me tell you, because previously, and in another clip I'll show you here, Game Freak has actually used Norse mythology before in Pokemon, and they used it in X and Y. Drassel Tree with the 3 mascot legendaries of Pokemon X and Y, being Xerneas and Yveltal, and then Zygarde if you want to consider him as the 3rd mascot. So with that in mind, that means that they've already sort of used something from Norse mythology before, being the Tree of Life or the Drassel Tree, to sort of represent the 3 legendaries, being the 4 Stags of Life, the unnamed eagle at the top, and then of course the serpent on the very bottom of it supporting it all, being the core, or the one that maintains it all, maintaining order, which that's what Zygarde's known for. It's to maintain the order of everything. So they've already ripped something from Norse mythology and got inspiration for it and put it into a Pokemon game previously. So this means that using some kind of Whirling Rainbow Prophecy inspiration in Sun and Moon is not something that's out of the question, considering it's also something to do with Norse mythology. That could lead them on a good path to continue using different inspirations from Norse mythology in Sun and Moon. We gotta figure out who these 4 or however many Guardians there are. I want to say 4 for now, and I'll get into why I think there might be a 5th one in a little bit. First of all, who are the possibilities of these Guardians? Well, the first 2 that I can obviously think of right off the top of my head are Solgaleo and Lunala. There's no way that if this was supposed to be part of the main plot of Sun and Moon, there's absolutely no way that they would not include the mascot legendaries as 2 of the guardians or deities that they have to protect and sort of honor, I guess you could say. So with 2 of them already knocked out right away, you already can label 2 of the members of the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy as Solgaleo and Lunala. Now, don't click out the video because I know some people get like really like offended or weirded out when people start talking about like all these different like mythologies and all that. Just trust me, like it's actually gonna go somewhere. Please take my word for that. But then you gotta think who the other 2 might be. Like you just don't really know at this time. But the only 2 Pokemon, or honestly that are legendary, that I can think of that could fill in the last 2 spots are Xerneas and Yveltal. And the reason why I say that is not only because previously they were a part of another Norse mythology inspiration that Game Freak has already used before, being the Tree of Life, and the region, the Alola region, is the like region that has a bunch of life and energy to it. It sort of ties that in together. But not only that, the fact that it's possible that the 5th Guardian of the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy, or the Guardian of the Alola region, is Zygarde. Now, as you all know, recently Zygarde 100% form was confirmed to be in Sun and Moon. There was a clip that was very important that I'm gonna show you guys here. That's a quote from one of the game developers themselves. I can't remember if it was Masuda or the other dude that was with him. I think I gotta remember his name here. And his name is Mr. Amori. I apologize, I had to look it up. It was a quote from either one of them that said they can't talk too much about Zygarde, but they have a really big surprise in store for when it comes to Zygarde in this game. And I'll play it now and you guys will see.
So in the games, the legends say that Solgaleo and Lunala are the emissaries of the sun and the moon, respectively. And these two legendary Pokemon actually, they kind of play a unique role. They tie into the story in a unique way that we really haven't done with pairs of legendary Pokemon before. So I think fans will be really excited about it.
I think there's a really interesting spiritual element that we get in these games. I won't talk about that too much yet because I know we're saving some surprises.
So Zygarde, the Pokemon that one of the legendary Pokemon that appeared in originally in Pokemon X and Y. It just recently showed off their the 10% form and complete form in the games, and these Pokemon these forms will appear in Pokemon Sun and Moon, kind of in a special way that I think people will be excited about.
So with that clip in mind, you can see that they even confirmed that Zygarde 100% form is going to have a big role in Sun and Moon, and it's something they can't really talk about, but it's something that fans will hopefully love. And I love the sound of that. I really do. I really, really like where that's going, and that honestly makes me think that this all could be correct. Now get this, right? When you look at Zygarde 100% form, if you look at his chest, he has himself an array of colors going along it. And you can actually see, starting from the far left, you've got a darker blue, then a lighter blue, then you've got white in the middle, trailing off to doing another stroke of orange, and then you've got yourself a stroke of red going along. Now, if you break it down, it seems that each of these colors represent the legendaries that have been introduced in the last two generations. The red one being for Yveltal, the blue one being for Xerneas, the orange one being for Solgaleo, and the darker blue / purpley type one for Lunala. But then, that leaves the color in the middle, being white. Well, here's an interesting fact for you. So the last unnamed color is white. Who could white be representing? Well, when you look up the definition of what white means, or usually what the color white is used to represent, it's white is associated with light, goodness, innocence, purity, and virginity. It is the purest of the pure colors. It is the core of it all. And what Pokemon is the core, the purest one, the one that brings balance back into it? Zygarde 100% form. So, does that technically mean that that possible fifth teacher or guardian that I spoke about earlier is Zygarde 100% form? Now, this is where we get into something very, very, very interesting. Okay, now this one is a bit of a jump, but there's evidence that supports all of this, and I'm going to try and break as much down as possible so that way you guys don't get confused. So a couple of months back, I made a theory talking about how it's possible that Zygarde 100% form will be featured in Sun and Moon, and the way it will be awoken or summoned, or like it'll evolve and become 100% form before you catch it yourself, is basically going to be due to a series of natural disasters or catastrophic occurrences within the region itself. What I think is going to start this catastrophic event that's going to summon Zygarde, because as you know, and I will play this clip for you as well from that same theory,
as the legend implies, only during dire need does Zygarde ever gather all of its cells to handle heavy disaster to the ecosystem. In this form, Zygarde is 4.5 meters tall and weighs 610 kilograms, and has become the system Pokemon. Zygarde Complete is now capable of handling Xerneas and Yveltal, as its power has exceeded both of theirs. Zygarde still retains its Dragon Ground type combination and takes the shape of all its previous forms as well.
As you can see from there, Zygarde only comes to his 100% form, only evolves to that and summons that form, that 100% form, when there's like natural disasters and chaos erupting about. Now, here's something that's gonna blow your mind, and I promise you that you will walk away from this video or click away from this video happy, knowing that you'd watched it all the way through. If you're still at this point, stick with me, because you do not want to leave yet. So a couple months back, there was also some trademarks filed for the legendaries Solgaleo and Lunala. Like even, I think it was like well over a month before they were even announced, or a couple weeks before they were announced, they were trademarked by a Japanese lawyer who filed the trademark for Nintendo on their behalf to sort of make it a little bit secretive and didn't show that the trademark came from Game Freak themselves. Otherwise, it would have been pretty obvious what they were trademarking. So they wanted to make it somewhat secret and had a Japanese lawyer file it instead. And then it turns out that these were actually the names for the legendaries, and everybody was right on their theories, and that was actually what they were called. But then a couple weeks later, there was a third trademark that was found for a Pokemon called Marshadow, or for something called Marshadow. Now, the reason why I want to believe that this is also a Pokemon and it's trademarked for Game Freak under some other Japanese lawyer or somebody to do with Game Freak, something like that. The reason why I think that this is another Pokemon is because it has the exact same data entry in the trademark description that Solgaleo and Lunala did, which also sort of insinuates that they might be part of a trio or a group of 3 trademarks that were all filed at roughly around the same time. So let's just assume that Marshadow is actually a Pokemon for all those non-believers out there, because this makes the most sense out of anything. So when you break down the name Marshadow, when you break down it to just shadow alone, it's used in reference to some sort of ominous, oppressive figure that brings sadness and gloom to wherever it may be deciding to. And again, there's many different, like, depictions of what shadow can mean. It could also be like some person's shadow, like you could see the shadow of my arm on the wall back there as an example, but that's the best one I could think of for this description. But then you look at what Mar translates to, and what that generally breaks down to within the English dictionary is to impair / disfigure the appearance or to impair the quality of something. So when you put that together, that's a shadowy, ominous figure that brings sadness and gloom and disfigures the image or completely destroys something. Like, that's literally, it's changing something. It's changing the quality of it. So you gotta really think, what would trigger this this complete form evolution of Zygarde? What would cause this? Well, like I said, if Marshadow is real and its name breaks down to a shadowy, ominous figure that's oppressive, and oppressive meaning to like completely take over and bring sadness and gloom, that right there will be enough to cause turmoil for Zygarde to become his 100% form. And something else to add in there, what if I told you that Tapu Koko is the Whirling Rainbow Prophecy? If you guys did enjoy this theory / speculation, please be sure to leave a thumbs up. I would really love to hear what you guys have to say in the comments and love to have your feedback and appreciation on the video. If you didn't like it, you don't disagree, or if you disagree with my theory, feel free to leave that in the comments, leave your own response, let me know what you think of it. I'm still trying to build as much information on top of this theory as possible, because I really want to try and figure out the whole story before the game comes out. I just think that would be really, really awesome. And if you think I'm correct, like I said, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video, share it around with everybody, get their opinion. Just share this with as many people as you can. Like, I just want to know people's opinions on this. Whether or not I'm completely wrong when the game comes out, I could be so far off it's not even funny. But I just think that it's possible that all this could be related and could be the case for Sun and Moon. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I really, really appreciate it, and I'd love to know what you guys have to think about it as well and have to say about my whole theory. And with that, if you guys want to see more Sun and Moon speculation videos and all that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But it's finally time for me to get on out of here. Thank you all so much once again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next speculation video for Pokemon Sun and Moon.